Hi, I'm Danny with eTrailer, and today we're going to take a look at, and I'm going to show you how to install the Stealth Hitches hidden rack receiver on our 2025 Tesla Model 3. Now the biggest thing about these Stealth Hitches is they actually will drop out of a stainless steel box. So you can turn a lever and this whole thing will actually drop away. And you can store this in your trunk or in your vehicle, and now your car is back to OEM look. Now there are going to be two styles when it comes to these. So there's going to be one where it will only accept accessories like bike racks or cargo carriers like the one we have today, or you can upgrade and there's just two extra pieces and you will be able to tow. But as far as the tongue weight goes with our hitch today, that is going to be 350 pounds, and our neighbor is going to be using it for e-bikes, so we shouldn't have any issue there. Now you will need a 5/8 inch pin and clip. This does not come in the kit, but it will come in most of the accessories you buy. I would recommend, though, upgrading to a locking pin, so you have that sense of security when you're away from your vehicle. So Teslas are pretty low to the ground, so it is a little difficult to do it blind. So I'm gonna have to look under here. But once you get used to it and where it is on your vehicle, it shouldn't be an issue to get this back into place. But now it's clicked into place, and the locking pin we're gonna push in, make sure it's locked, and it does come with a set of keys for you to unlock and relock that back into place. Now I'll go ahead and give you a couple measurements you may need to know. So from the ground to the top of this hitch receiver is about 9.5. Now that is a little bit close to the ground, so that is something to consider if you have a really long cargo carrier and you're going up a steep hill and you're not wanting that to bottom out. Now the next measurement is from the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of our bumper. And that's going to be about 2.5 inches, and that's going to be good to know if you have a folding accessory like a bike rack and you don't want that to come into contact with your bumper. So if you decide to get this hitch for your Tesla, please let us know in a review or comment what you're using it for and what you're hauling or what accessory you put on it. Now getting onto the installation, it is pretty simple. You do have to take the rear fascia off, and there is a bit of drilling with a weld spot. So if you don't have the time or tools to do it yourself, please feel free to check out our dealer locator, and we can find a professional in your area to help you out. But without further ado, let's get into the installation. So to start off this installation, you're going to want to open the trunk, and I'm going to get a T25 bit, and I'm going to get these plastic fasteners off. You can use a wrench maybe. They are pretty loose, so I'm actually just going to get my T25, and I can do it by hand. So I'm going to unscrew these on both sides and get this panel. There is one fastener. You just want to pull this out. Until that fastener comes loose. With that clip removed, you can pull this up, and there should be clips going down into the fascia. So we'll just pull the up and set this to the side. With that removed, there is going to be a 10mm socket that we will have to remove as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and tape the seam where we're going to be taking the rear fascia off, just so it doesn't chip any of the paint here. On both sides, there is going to be a T25 screw that goes up into the upper fascia here. So I'm going to take a T25 bit and get these unscrewed on both sides. On the driver's side wheel well here, there's going to be some 2 push pin fasteners. I'm going to get a small flathead screwdriver and a trim panel tool and get these removed. So on the same wheel well, there is going to be one more near the back here that we're going to want to remove. So 3 total on each side. Up under the vehicle, there is going to be 6 10mm screws you'll have to remove. There's going to be 2 under these panels, 2 in the middle, and 2 back here. So I'll go ahead and get these removed. On some models, there may be a screw up behind this plastic piece, so you will have to pull this down and determine if there is one. On this model, we don't have one, but it would be in the middle, right around there. And then there would be a screw on some models as well in the center of this underneath fascia panel. But we don't have those two, so now we can go ahead and lower it down and take the fascia off. Getting this fascia removed, you're going to want to have a friend helping you out. I got Dan helping me today. And we're going to start in the wheel well here, and we're going to get this popped out. Kind of work along your seam here. When you get to the top, you may want to lift up a bit because there are going to be clips holding this part together. Just kind of work it all the way down. Now there's going to be a clip on the passenger side that we're going to have to remove before we can get the fascia off. You're going to want to pull down on the red tab, push in, and pull them apart. Now with the electrical plugs unplugged on the passenger and driver, we can go ahead and remove this fascia, put it in a safe place for now. We can remove these 5 screws securing this plastic piece onto the bumper here. I am going to use a marker and mark the location so when we put them back, we know exactly how much to tighten them. Now I'll grab my 10mm socket and remove these 5. You're going to want to save these for reinstallation later. There's going to be a clip on either side. You're just going to want to pull it out. And we're going to let this hang down for now. Now we can take these plastic pieces out. I'll get my screwdriver and pull them out. That reveals 3 15mm screws. And I will take those out. So on the passenger side, there will be 3. On this side, it looks like this part is welded that we will have to cut out. Got an 1 3/8 step bit, and I'm going to remount this weld so we can get this bumper free. And with that reamed out, it should break those welds eventually, and you can get this pulled off. With that bumper removed, we can take our 15 and remove these 3 nuts. And get this piece removed on both sides. Nylon washers that come in your kit will get placed on each of these studs. And if there is any caulking in the way, you will have to remove that before you put these on. But we're looking clean today. With those on, we can now put our hitch into place. I'll put the nut that we took off back on, but only the one closest to the wheel on either side, and I'm going to tighten and torque these down. Make sure you torque these down to the specs in the instructions. And if you don't have a torque wrench at home, you can purchase one here at eTrailer, or you can usually rent them from your local auto parts store. To get this bumper back on, we are going to grab our frame brackets from our kit, and we are going to get our hardware in these. So on the driver's side is a little different than the passenger. The passenger will accept 3 nuts and bolts. But since the passenger side we had to cut that weld out, it's going to be a little different. We're just going to put 2 in there. So I'll show you how to do that side. So you want your frame bracket to have the notch, and that's going to be facing up. And how you know which side's up is it's the wider section of your bumper. So we're going to want to get our bolt with a flat washer. We're going to put 2 of these in on this side. And these holes will be facing in towards the vehicle. So now you're going to get your nylon washer, put those on, and we can slide this into place and put our nuts on. Now this one's a little bit hard to get to, so it's easier just to hold the nut into place, pull the bolt down, and kind of thread the bolt into the nut itself. And we are just getting these hand tight for now, and we'll tighten them when it's on the vehicle. So with the brackets on the bumper beam, we can put this back into place. Now with the nut we removed from the vehicle, I'm just going to loosely put those back on. Now we can tighten and torque these down. With that tight, we can move our bumper beam to center. I'm just going to grab a tape measure and measure from the bumper to the end of this, from the end of our hitch here, and it should be about an inch on both sides. It could be different in your case, but on mine it is about an inch. So now I'll go ahead with it centered, get the passenger side tightened up and the driver's side. Now you may need a 17mm wrench on the other side to hold the bolt into place, and then the nut is a 15mm. And once they're tightened down, you can come back and torque them down. Now for the top one, you may need an extension for your torque wrench. The bottom one should be good. Now we're going to put this piece back on the opposite way we took it off. I'm just going to get it on now just so it's out of our way for the next step. Now we can install the rack receiver. You are going to want to open the bottom here. Those are going to be the keys. We're going to take those out. Put this back on. But now we want to get this into place. Our handle is going to be on the right side, and we're going to get our bolts through, and our nylock nuts on. Now we can tighten and torque these down. I do have a 15/16 wrench and socket. I do have a swivel adapter to make this easier. And the back side as well. And once you get everything torqued down, you can go ahead and reinstall your fascia the same way we took it off. So to reveal the stainless steel block that your hitch will go into, you can just turn these pieces with a flathead screwdriver, and it will unlock this panel to come down. Now if you don't have a panel, you will have to cut out a section here, but most will have a panel. And now to get your hitch receiver in, you're going to want to take this rubber piece out, push up, and it will lock into place. But make sure you lock it after you do this step. And to remove it, you're going to want to unlock your left side here and pull towards the passenger seat on the knob on the right, and it will fall right out. And that was a look at our hidden hitch receiver on our 2025 Tesla Model 3.